Joining us now to give us more insight into this situation is David Leatherwood, the man you just saw in the video who was terminated for his political views. So David, I first want to set up the scene a little bit for people who may not be familiar with this situation. Can you explain the events that led up to your termination?
Certainly. So I've been a political activist online under the anonymous moniker Brokeback Patriot for several years now. One of the reasons why I created my anonymous account is because I didn't want this to happen. But in light of the events, I had made some comments criticizing the political scene right now, and some liberal progressives found my page on the internet. They screenshotted it. They posted my post all over all over social media, and they started tagging my employer, saying that they would boycott the business if they didn't fire me.
And this comes on a day where we're actually seeing a Supreme Court case that is saying that employers should not be able to fire an individual based on sexual orientation or their identity, whatever it may be. But this is something a little bit different. This is a political affiliation. And it's something, too, where, I mean, you don't see this very often happening the other way necessarily. So when you see what's happening right now, you were ultimately terminated from your position. How has that affected your life so far?
So, it's actually been incredible. The Patriot community has completely rallied behind me to support me, even though it is discouraging that now I'm out of a job. People that I don't even know have called me, texted me, messaged me, offering me jobs, trying to support me in whatever way possible. So even though it's been a tough situation, it's also been very inspiring to see patriots rally together in the face of injustice.
And this is one of those circumstances to me, too, where the loudest voices on social media don't represent the majority of Americans. I mean, I don't think the average American wants to see anybody fired for their political affiliation, unless it's something outrageous, but that's not the case that we're looking at right here. I mean, the average American wants to be able to go about their day, live their own life, have money in their pocket, and keep their family safe, and they don't really care too much about some of these political things that are taking place. But when you get the people on social media, those are the people who are overly involved in these situations sometimes, that's when you get smear campaigns promoted against businesses. And something's willing to tell me that those people never shopped at the place you worked at to begin with. I mean, I could imagine that's the case. Am I wrong?
I don't even know these people. They would never come to the cafe. In fact, several of my followers did come to the cafe and supported the business and would come just to see me. And now they will refuse to go to that business. So it's actually hurt them in the long run.
And so when we acknowledge what did happen to you, and I'm sure you're not the only one, I'm sure it's happened to other people as well, not only based on political affiliation, but I mean, we can go through history and we can see that there have been actions like this taken against people based on their race, their gender identity, whatever it may be. But in this case, we're looking at a political affiliation. What do you think that not only we as the American people can do for this, but also maybe our elected leaders as well? What can they do to prevent this situation from happening?
Well, I think that it would be a great thing if we could figure out a way to start tracking these instances, because you're right. I'm not the only person this has happened to. If there's a way to create a database or a system where people that are victims of this injustice can actually go in, log their experience, so that we can put these businesses in the spotlight, and that we can use our pocketbooks to put pressure on these businesses, so that in the future they would be afraid to fire somebody for their political beliefs, just solely based on the financial repercussions that could possibly happen if people find out about it.
Yeah, that might be one plan of recourse, because, it's one of these things where, to be honest, I've never thought about it too much before. And it's maybe my fault for not looking into this topic too much, but it doesn't really affect a lot of people until it affects you. And I think that's something that not only we should keep in mind, but our viewers as well, as we look forward to this. Sometimes it's not so much how you're affected, but how this could affect not only you, your families, people you care about. So I appreciate you bringing some awareness to this issue. And I'm glad to hear that despite your termination, you have found maybe a bit of a silver lining in the aftermath of this. But David Leatherwood, I appreciate you coming on tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much.